Hi there, I'm Katie Canary. This is my second attempt at trying to make my very first YouTube video. I had to scrap the first take because I just rambled on for 20 minutes and got bit by some mosquitoes, and then some squirrels ran up the tree, which set the dog off, and then I almost knocked the camera over. It was a whole thing. So I refocused and made myself some notes. And now we're here at my little art corner and hopefully moving forward. So, who is Katie Canary? I feel like that's a loaded question. I can give you today's answer, but then I'd have to make another video tomorrow and the next day. There's actually a proverb, I guess, that's always stuck with me, that goes, a man never steps in the same river twice, because it's never the same river and it's never the same man. We're alive and flowing, in motion, and so is our identity. I think the best I can do is tell you where I am right now and why I'm here talking to you. I've just found that for whatever reason, I don't even know what I think until I hear myself say it out loud. Free expression is kind of medicinal to me, especially now. I was muzzled and isolated for a very long time, and I think I lost myself in that silence somewhere. Like a canary in a coal mine, silence means something is very, very wrong. And it was. So for the last 5 years, I guess, 5 years now, I just was working my way through that carnage. And I really just earned so much freedom and peace by falling apart and piecing myself back together again. It was a rather messy process, but I really just gained so much, so many victories, I guess, over PTSD and depression and narcissistic abuse and anxiety and basically the whole trauma lasagna that I had going on there. So now I'm free from so much, but I don't know where I'm going. And I know that I'm not the only one adrift. Being a human is hard. And I think we should just be honest about that and face life with authenticity, as messy and as scary as that is. So here I am, just someone who's trying to find my voice again and trying to step back into a confidence that I lost. I'm not an instructor or a guru. I have no lesson plans. We're like in full winging it mode. I'm more like Danny Kaye's Hans Christian Andersen, kind of bursting into song in the middle of the village square and just seeing who gathers around. But I think that's actually how YouTube works. So, speaking of bursting into song, having songs to share is still kind of a surreal experience for me. I guess a lot of my life is like that now. It feels like I'm a little out of phase from this reality. But that's probably a whole nother video. My songs are all over the place, like me, I guess. But they all started from the pain and desperation and hope of a soul that wanted to thrive but only ever knew how to survive. And even now, the ones I'm currently working on are just fueled by brutal honesty, which is kind of where I live. I went through a purging process, and that's all it was supposed to be, just a raw, intuitive outpouring on any flat surface I could find. Just an amygdala dump in the midst of personal crisis, just day after day after day of filling page after page after page, until I just had stacks of notebooks full of my truth and pain. And eventually, once I faced it all, an identity crisis and some peace. It's a messy process. But I don't know why or how this happened, but in the midst of that, as I was kind of hashing it all out, at one point it started coming out in rhymes. And I've always been a writer, and I love words, but my journaling wasn't really intended as a creative process. So as I was just pouring out these heart-wrenching truths and just weeping and grieving and raging, I was like, what in the Dr. Seuss is happening here? And as time went on, and just a line would come, or then a verse, and one day I sat down and it was kind of leaking out a bit, and then it was just flowing, and I said, did I just write a rap song? And I thought, we're gonna call that poetry. Yeah, I think I'm a poet now, and I kind of set that over there. But the poetry kind of kept haunting me. It just all these verses coming to mind as I was in the shower, or walking out to get the mail, or just trying to get to sleep. Just all of this deep, dark junk that I was going through kind of started coming out in a really beautiful way. So I let it, and but I tucked it into a secret little folder, and thought myself ridiculous. And then we were in the midst of a rather drastic life transition for a while there. It involved a really complicated 900-mile move with 3 generations, and the settling in process was prolonged. And I guess when it all, I don't know what's going on here. Once I kind of everything, I guess the dust settled and I got my bearings again. What I realized that I wanted out of my new life was freedom. I wanted that freedom of expression that I didn't have access to for so long. And just I wanted to tap back into that creative spirit as an artist. And I had just lost it for over a decade, and I felt robbed. So when I came across the opportunity to make my poems into songs, I just had all that repressed creative energy, and it just kind of surged all at once, and I totally immersed myself in the process like a mad scientist and didn't really surface again until I had brought them all to life, and I had made cover art for all of them with all of my own photography and artwork, and started learning how to make the lyric videos, and it was fun and satisfying, and I felt like myself again for the first time in a really long time. But then I had this treasure trove of all of these creations, and I kind of halted at that point. And I was very unsure about sharing them with the world. And encouragement kind of came from a very unusual place, but it's probably a story for another video too. But I did. I was brave, and I'm considered a highly sensitive person, and I always, actually, that might be a video for another time too. There's a survivor's guilt, I think, when you're very aware of the suffering around you and you somehow find your way out of the darkness of it. I think it's human nature to kind of look back and want to help anyone that you can. So that's just kind of where my heart is right now with it, and why I was able to muster the courage to put so much of myself out there. I received so much from brave, generous souls on the other side of this screen. When I had no one to lean on in my real world, I was able to find, or however it works, I guess their stories and songs and truths found me from all over the world at the right time, right when I needed it. And, you know, the great algorithmic machine. We live in a crazy world, in a crazy time. And it's pretty scary to hope that what you say or do will make a difference. And sometimes I think, who am I to light a beacon and leave it on the path when I'm still wandering in the darkness myself? Like, who would listen to me? I'm not an expert on anything. And I'm just someone with 4 decades of survival skills and access to the internet. And I also, you know, you can develop trust issues when a betrayal happens to you. And in my case, I think the betrayal came from myself. I feel that I am struggling now to trust my own judgment and really navigate confidently. But sometimes I'm brave enough to believe in myself, and I'm hoping to kind of lean more in that direction. And so this is part of that. And sometimes when I'm in that mode, I can hope that it'll all matter, that, my song Hurting Now will find someone in the midst of a battle they don't know how to face, or my song Smile Again can keep an ember of hope burning for someone just a little longer. Or my song Welcome to Humanity can help someone step out of shame and make their way through the uncharted waters of freedom. Music is such a powerful avenue for connection, but with great power. So I really just want to do more than toss my songs out there. I want to curate resources to accompany them and share the story behind, why they were written. My songs, they're not just words, they're my words, they're my stories. And I'm really proud of the version of me that was strong enough to tell those stories honestly. And I'm really proud of the version of me that was brave enough to share them with the world. And I'm really proud of this brave version of me that is somehow finding the courage to ramble on about all of this. I know I've been awkward, and I really don't know if I've even said much of anything, and it's already been, looks like 18 minutes, so and maybe no one will watch these videos, and then I'll be like, whew, nobody saw that. But if they do, and they matter, or if they hear a song and it helps them, then me being exposed and cringe and a little too old to probably be in HD this close to the camera, and not tech savvy enough at all to be starting a YouTube empire. I'm still just really proud of the courage it took to get me here. So even if I'm speaking into the ether and there's nobody on the other side of the screen, I think I just needed to hear myself say all of this today. And that feels like enough. But in case someone is listening, who is Katie Canary? Ta-da! I appreciate you spending this time with me, and hopefully I can catch you on the next video as I move forward, maybe bring you along with me. All right, thanks. Thanks again.